Here lies Campania, a land where the sea kisses the earth in gentle embrace, sheltering ancient cities that thrived in ignorance of the mountain looming behind them. Pompeii and Herculaneum stood upon fertile soil, unaware of the fury sleeping within Vesuvius. History whispers of a devastating tremor on February 5th, 62, where stone cracked across the bay, yet life persisted as normal trade continued. By 79, the silence deepened, masking earthquakes that shook the ground in 4 days before the end. They did not know the giant was waking, dismissing such tremors until disaster struck. Suddenly, the sky turned black as night, pierced by a column of superheated tephra rising 33 kilometers high into the stratosphere. 1.5 million tons of material poured from the crater every second, unleashing thermal energy exceeding the atomic blasts of Hiroshima and Nagasaki by 100,000 times. The fragile coexistence ended in an instant. Pyroclastic surges buried the living, ending the lives of over 20,000 souls across 2 settlements before we can find their remains today. We uncover more than 1,500 people preserved in ash and memory, a testament to the power that once swallowed this world in fire and stone. It leaves only the ghost of a sleeping giant behind the ruins, reminding us of nature's indifferent might. Beneath the ash lies a geological truth, reconstructed by scientific stratigraphy that speaks of violent physics. In 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius unleashed a towering column of superheated tephra, reaching 33 kilometers into the stratosphere. The scale was unimaginable, ejecting material at 1.5 million tons per second. This cataclysm released thermal energy 100,000 times greater than the combined atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Pompeii and Herculaneum were not merely damaged. They were obliterated and buried beneath massive pyroclastic surges of superheated gas and rock. The total population of both cities exceeded 20,000 souls, yet only the remains of over 1,500 people have been found within the ruins. This sudden violence was preceded by seismic activity. A major earthquake had struck the Bay of Naples on February 5, 62 AD, causing widespread destruction there. 4 days before the eruption, minor tremors occurred but were not recognized as warnings by a terrified populace. The mechanics of this destruction reveal a nature indifferent to human life, where the earth itself became the executioner. Scientific layers record the speed and heat that turned a thriving civilization into silence. The violence was absolute, leaving no survivors in the heart of Campania. It stands as one of the deadliest eruptions in history, a testament to the raw power hidden beneath Italian landscape. The earth speaks in tremors long before the sky turns black. In the autumn of 79, the Bay of Naples held a quiet anxiety that history has struggled to hear. For 4 days prior to the catastrophic climax, minor seismic shifts rippled through the Campanian soil. Yet, the people of Pompeii and Herculaneum dismissed these shudders as ordinary disturbances, routine geology in a region familiar with Vesuvius's temper. From Misenum, Pliny observed the gathering storm from a distance, unaware that the volcano was already exhaling its final breath. The ground beneath their feet had groaned under pressure, yet the warning signs were dismissed as noise rather than narrative. This complacency masked the terrifying reality unfolding underground. When the eruption finally broke, the scale was unimaginable to any mind. A column of ash and superheated gases soared 33 kilometers into the stratosphere, burying 2 bustling cities beneath tons of debris. The population exceeded 20,000, now silenced by nature's sudden violence. We view these remains and wonder at the silence that fell over the bay on that day. The earth had spoken. Humanity chose to sleepwalk through the end. The tremors of 62 had taught them fear, but this time, the signs were too subtle for the ears of the living. They listened to wrong noises before the final moment arrived. In the summer of 79 AD, the sky above Campania turned a sickly shade of ochre as Mount Vesuvius woke with violence defying human imagination. A column of superheated tephra gases ascended 33 kilometers into the stratosphere, visible from many miles away. The volcano ejected material at 1.5 million tons per second, releasing thermal energy 100,000 times greater than the atomic bombings of Hiroshima. This was not a war for territory, but geological indifference claiming over 20,000 souls in Pompeii and Herculaneum. Through the preserved letters of Pliny the Younger, we witness this catastrophe from afar, documenting the terror engulfing his kin as they sought safety amidst the chaos. Over 1,500 bodies have been recovered from ash-choked streets, frozen in their final moments by pyroclastic surges, sweeping through the valley with suffocating speed. Minor earthquakes had shaken the ground for 4 days prior, yet they were dismissed as harmless tremors rather than warnings of the approaching end. A massive earthquake 6 years earlier had scarred the Bay of Naples region, but this time, the Earth decided to swallow everything whole. The energy released was absolute and final, burying civilization beneath tons of rock in a silence that lasted until men began to dig again, revealing the human cost recorded in stone and ash for eternity. Today, we stand upon the silent testament of a civilization frozen in ash and time. Pompeii and Herculaneum rest as UNESCO World Heritage Sites, preserved not by human hand, but by nature's own brutal mercy against decay. The Earth remembers the violence of 79 AD, when Mount Vesuvius unleashed a cloud reaching 33 kilometers into the sky. It ejected material at 1.5 million tons per second, releasing thermal energy 100,000 times greater than the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki combined. Beneath pyroclastic surges, over 20,000 souls vanished, yet more than 1,500 remained trapped within their final moment. Even before this cataclysm, an earthquake on February 5th, 62 AD, had already scarred the Bay of Naples, while minor tremors in the 4 preceding days were ignored as warnings. Now, the plaster casts breathe, a silence that speaks louder than words. We walk through streets where daily life was abruptly halted by superheated gases and tephra, witnessing history before it faded. This sight is a mirror held up to our own fragility. To witness these ruins is to confront the inevitability of time, understanding that even the most vibrant cultures can be swallowed in an instant. The legacy preserved here reminds us of mortality, urging humility before the forces that shape human destiny and nature's enduring power.